Welcome back to the show. Not only was XRP announced as a United States strategic reserve digital asset yesterday, but the world's been put on notice that they better buy as much of it as possible. You don't think so? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, we are looking at $3.08 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency. We're back over $3 trillion. We're up 4.2. And Bitcoin, 90,000 plus right now. Ethereum, 2,200 plus. Number 3 spot, XRP's back there, $2.60. We're up 17% on the 24-hour. We're up 6.7 on the 7-day. Range of price between 222 and 295. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we are inviting President Trump, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr. to XRP-Las-Vegas.com. Did you get your tickets yet? It is the world's largest XRP conference, May 30th, May 31st. We'd love to see the Trump family join us, especially on the news that XRP has been announced as a strategic reserve digital asset. I hope you will join us. 87 days and counting. And remember, Bitcoin conference is happening butted up right in front of ours. I don't think it's a mistake. So you need to think about the rooms, the flights. Make sure you get your flights and rooms lined up. I don't want to see you miss out. We have so many incredible top speakers and industry analysts. You won't believe what we've got lined up for you. Don't miss out. Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Simon McLaughlin, President of MoonPay, Keith Grossman, and so many more. Don't mess around. Get your ticket before they're gone. This is going to be incredible. And look at this news as we find out that the XRP is going to be in a U.S. strategic reserve. Binance delisting 9 non-MiCA compliant stablecoins in Europe by March 31st, including USDT. Okay. Now, with this strategic reserve news, you got to ask yourself how much longer. We know stablecoin legislation could be here as soon as April. So what are we going to do with USD Tether in the United States? Are they going to accept it and allow it? Or are we going to say the same thing happen here that's happening in the EU? This is the question. I don't think we got the market figured out until we see what happens with Tether. Lock in, we're going to the moon. This was, in fact, a tweet from President Trump about the U.S. crypto reserve and how XRP, Solana, and ADA are going to be in that strategic reserve. This is remarkable. Yesterday was a historical day, right? Up 30% in an hour. Lock in, we're going to the moon. XRP is going to be in a strategic reserve. Now we have other things to talk about. For one, we've been laughed at, ridiculed, and attacked for years, even from influencers inside of this community, that we even had this conversation. Do they have the humility to own it on the airwaves? Do they have the humility to own it? I guarantee you they don't. But I'll tell you this. This is what I do know. This lines up the conversation beautifully because for XRP to serve someday as a world reserve bridge currency, it's first going to need to be put into a stockpile or a strategic reserve, which happened yesterday. Come on in. Oh, we got a lot to talk about. Well, Rand Nooner says can't take a U.S. strategic reserve with ADA and XRP seriously. Well, don't worry about it, Rand. Because this makes sense to all of us, because you push pump and dumps and you only understand pump and dumps. So we wouldn't expect you to get this. Maybe a picture book would help. Maybe we could have DAI get his youngest to draw up some pictures for old Rand. The U.S. Senate is in the same moment right now while we're watching all of this unfold, getting ready to vote on eliminating the IRS rule that targets the DeFi projects, according to a person familiar with the Senate's planning. Well, we love hearing this. We know Ted Cruz is working on that measure as well. We'll keep you posted. And remember last week, before all of this strategic news jumped off, we heard Stephen McClurg from Canary Capital say, everyone's talking about HBAR and XRP. And that was before President Trump announced a strategic reserve. So what do you think they're talking about now? And remember when Ando announced that U.S. Treasuries in conjunction with BlackRock's Biddle Fund were going to be launched on the XRP ledger? Remember that? Just a week or a couple weeks ago, right? Handful of weeks ago, last month, however you want to say it. This is what's interesting to me. I said then that this is the greatest signal that XRP ledger is being anointed. It is being chosen. It is a coronation, a blessing, if you will. And now we hear that it's in the strategic reserve. This tells me we're seeing these things right. I'm not saying this to say I told you so. I'm saying this to confirm that the way we're evaluating this market is absolutely spot on. And that's what we need to know. Who gives a shit about being right other than just making sure our portfolio's straight, right? I don't need the accolades, right? What I need is to make sure that we're all understanding these moves correctly. And they are panning out exactly the way we've talked about since before I was even a YouTuber. 2017, I thought all of this. And here it is actually happening. We are, in fact, going to go to the moon. And by the way, here's another great signal. The SEC versus Ripple case, guess what? That's going to end very favorably for us. You know how I know that? Because the President of the United States said XRP is going to be in a strategic reserve. Yeah. So we're going to need that case to work out. Yeah, they're not letting that hang open. I said this in the first video, and when we got this news, I say it today because of where we're going in this video. Stay with me. Think of this for a moment. Do you believe that President Trump, the greatest deal maker in the history of deal making, didn't get his XRP bag for the country before announcing that XRP would be in a strategic reserve? Not for a second. That deal is done. I think that deal got done either last summer or it got done while they were having dinner at Mar-a-Lago eating beef bourguignon. If the United States wants the XRP escrow, it will have it. Jeremy Hogan and Attorney Seal and I sat down and talked about this right after the case came down on top of the SEC versus Ripple. The Shane Ellis theory is officially in play, ladies and gentlemen. Only this time, it's not just the financial institutions that'll be looking to buy out the markets and the liquidity on the exchanges. Oh no, it will be countries. Because the rest of the world got put on notice yesterday after President Trump's remarks to get as much XRP as you can before it's all balled up. Now, it may take a second for it to dawn on them, but that moment's coming. That moment is coming. Now, Wrath of Common makes this comment, and I loved it. I'm not sure why the excitement over Ripple escrowed XRP being given to a U.S. crypto reserve. While emptying escrow would be nice, I'd prefer it to be sourced from the open market. And I say, this could be fun. How about we do the best of both worlds? Would be the United States buying the remaining escrow. Buying it every month when it comes out, and let the rest of the countries buy up the loose liquidity that's on the exchanges. The United States can be the steward of the escrow with monetary policy approach by holding it back and being a lender of last resort. That's right, just like the Fed. For those of you that do not understand the Shane Ellis theory, it was a gentleman who came out years and years ago, and he explained how this was ultimately going to go and said he had inside knowledge and he worked inside the system, yada, yada, yada. It made so much sense, I've never forgotten it. And I believe that we've seen the stage set for such a moment to begin. And in fact, one could argue that that moment has already started when we went from the 50-cent range to where we are today. And now it's just going to continue and continue over time to escalate until everyone starts to realize that it needs to be a mad dash grab to get this asset because there will only be so much of it available. And the price is going to continue to go up as people realize it. Now let's explain and listen to it explain here from an old video I did of the Shane Ellis theory and how it works. I'm only going to use a segment. It's about 2 minutes. Take a listen here.
Increased dramatically. Let me explain. And what you're hearing now is where he's going to take down what he's talking about is the order books, the buy and sell walls. Bittrex order books currently shows that from 27 cents, this is at the time that he wrote this, to $1.49 totals $47,078. So at the time that he wrote this, just to be clear, the price was 27 cents, and to buy it up to $1.49 and buy out the buy and sell walls, right? To buy those out on the exchange Bittrex, which is a participating partner with Ripple, right? That it would take $47,000 at that time through XRP to fiat pairing, which is the same channel that it will be used by the Ripple partners or ODL.
Now, I'm just explaining this very quickly for those that aren't aware of it very quickly. Just, so basically it's an explanation of how the big players in the financial system and now countries, because they've been put on notice, if the U.S. is holding it and you're a country, it's going to be a good idea for you to hold it too. That's the signal. They can come in and buy out the exchanges in the loose liquidity for very small amounts up to certain price levels by buying out the sell walls, right? I buy everything out on one exchange up to 27 cents to $1.49. At that time years ago, only cost $47,000 to do it and change, basically. Now, continue to listen how the buyout works, moving up to $25 on just one exchange. It doesn't take a lot of money to buy all of the exchanges out up to the certain price point that you need to offer the liquidity to serve the system. This is how they're going to do it, and it's natural and organic.
Simply transacting $47,078 at this point will instantly push the price of XRP to $1.49. Bittrex order book currently shows that from 27 cents to $25 totals amount of $3,651,361 at the time of writing this letter to buy out all of the sell orders to get the price of XRP on Bittrex to $25. Transacting $3.6 million plus at this point will instantly push the price of XRP to $25. Bittrex order book currently shows that from 27 cents to $100 is a total amount of $3,743,466. So at this point, $3.7 plus million at this point will instantly push the price of XRP to $100.
So you can see how you can continue to buy out all the exchanges for a handful of a few $1 million to take it up to the price level you need. Oh, what I'm not done with you yet. Oh, this is why I'm here. Yeah, this moment is exactly why I got into XRP. Vet said this: Ripple could actually set the regular key of the XRP accounts holding the escrow to the account of the U.S. government or any other entity, effectively transferring all XRP, even in escrow, without actually transferring any XRP or waiting for the escrow unlock in one XRP ledger transaction. That's pretty amazing. Now, Mayuka Verde says here, wouldn't work if only wanted to do a partial transfer, though. It's an all or nothing solution. Vet says, correct. Every account could be only transferred to one address, but there are many accounts out there instead of one account with many escrows. So there you have that. Now, let's keep going. This is what the conversation was years ago after the case was dropped originally on Ripple. And this is the kind of stuff that I've been talking about. I believed in 2017 before I was even in YouTube, because I never even planned on being in YouTube. I believed that this was always going to be an asset that would be used by the United States government to effectively save the US dollar. Now, let's take a listen to this. It's just a couple minutes, but you need to hear it. And Attorney Seal, shout out to him, believes something very similar to me, that the government could use eminent domain to confiscate the XRP. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to confiscate. I think they buy it. I think they actually buy it, the escrow, and then set the price through that, because they can do that too. But let's take a listen to this. This is pretty remarkable. Shout out to Jeremy Hogan, too, for his thoughts. 1 second.
And you always look for some type of theory that that you hang your hat on. And I guess that was the whole point behind what I put forth there, right? Is that, hey, it may not be happening, but it's definitely a possibility. And when you start looking at things that sort of have come into play, why would the SEC bring a lawsuit against Ripple, 7 or 8 years after the alleged incident? And then the commissioner that heads the commission quits the next day, and most of the commissioners are gone. And, you've kind of got a bunch of people in an ill-timed lawsuit, asking for the wrong things. I mean, it makes you wonder if it's just a delay tactic to sort of, for something greater. So.
And here we are. That something greater is XRP being a part of the United States Strategic Reserve. How about that? Not a bad conversation when you look back on it. Well, let's move forward here. 1 second.
So what Seal just said is, I'm not one to rain on a good speculation parade, so I'm going to go with you guys here. So here's my take on it. So if the U.S. government wants the escrowed XRP, it will have it. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt in my mind. And I think most U.S. citizens that aren't involved in law in any great detail don't realize how exposed we are to our government. There's only two things that separates that XRP, if the government wants it, from Ripple and the government. One, there's your vote, because if people think that you're going to, they're going to lose their vote and get kicked out of office if they do something, they won't do it. And two, there's the U.S. Constitution. And the U.S. Constitution provides some protections for something like this, and that's what Seal was referring to. I think on Twitter he was talking about eminent domain, which is I think that's the 8th Amendment.
Under the 5th Amendment, it's the takings clause. Under the 5th, yeah, it's under the 5th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5th. It's the takings clause, I think.
Okay, I'm getting kind of old, so memory's going. But,
we all are.
So that's part of the Constitution, but really the protection in the Constitution would be the 14th, which is kind of is equal protection. So, you're taking Ripple's XRP, but you're not taking other people's cryptocurrencies. And so that would be your argument. But all the government has to do in that situation, and if you go to Seal River Law School, we got the rational basis test and we have strict scrutiny. As soon as I passed the bar, I tried to forget it, but it's just stuck in my head. So this would be probably a rational basis test. So all the government would have to do is come up with a rational basis why the XRP was necessary or required for some nice government function, and it's gone. That's what they did with the, what do they call them? I think I wrote it down here. Was it SIFMU? What's that stand for, Brad?
The SIFMU, the Systemically Important Financial Market Utility or Market Infrastructure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough for them to say, well, this is a matter of important government financial policy, and therefore we're going to be taking your XRP from the ledger. And I also know it's on the escrow and it's time released, and that's fine because the government can come in like the doctor when the baby's born, grab it, and take it. So
see you again next month, right?
Yeah, and next month, and next month, and next month. Now,
there you have it right there. Now, I'm not done with you yet. Now listen to this, okay? Now listen to this. Now this, oddly enough, comes from people that spend time attacking me. That's incredible, even in person. But you know what? Nonetheless, they had times in their life when the light bulbs were on, you know what I mean? And now there's no denying that this is where things are going, right? So I want you to listen now when they claim that the escrow, you can't mess with the escrow. It's like, of course you can. They're not going to go in and alter the programming of it. They're just going to catch it every month when it comes out. It'll be the U.S. government instead of Ripple. Listen to what, this is Quincy Jones, who's absolutely brilliant. I tell you, what a young mind and a brilliant mind in this space. We love him. Listen to what he says when asked about how can it happen that the price of XRP could be set and how the escrow could be confiscated or bought by the U.S. government. And I think bought is more likely. Take a listen.
That Quincy, what's the mechanism where somebody could come in and actually take the escrow? Because as you know, it's validator nodes that are set up. You need 80% consensus once an amendment is put forth. So I'm saying, like, what mechanism or regulation would they currently use? I don't think anything exists right now.
I'm glad you said that. That is so brilliant that you said that, because the answer is so simple. And when you say it out loud, the answer is so simple. And you want to take a guess what it is?
I could take a guess. Yeah, I could take a guess. I mean, when it comes to the government, anything is potentially possible.
It's actually very simple. It's a one size fit all simple solution. It's actually kind of funny, and you guys will love it. It's really simple. And when
lay it on us, man.
So the way that the government will confiscate the escrow isn't so much that they'll confiscate it, but they'll buy it, and they'll buy every single month's escrow release at whatever price to set liquidity at the price. You see what I mean? That's them setting the price of XRP at buying it at a certain price, setting liquidity will set liquidity for the rest of the market on top of any sort of regulatory frameworks they want to set. So they won't confiscate it because, they're forcing them to confiscate it. They'll just force a buyout from the escrow every month at whatever price to set liquidity in the market.
There you go. That's what I've been saying for years right there. They're going to price set this thing, and if they do control the escrow every month and the U.S. government ends up buying and setting the price every month, then that's going to cause a mad dash for every other government, country, financial institution, market maker to come out here and scoop up as much of it as they can, because every month the price is going to end up going up. They're going to buy it every month and set the price and push it to where they need it, which is going to cause a flywheel effect for everyone out here, all the other countries and governments, when it dawns on them to get their ass out here and buy this XRP. And you know what that means for you and I. I know you do. That's why I say, let's see, Ripple customer base 95% outside the U.S. The U.S. government appears to be targeting USD Tether. The EU certainly is. Ripple to launch the U.S. stablecoin, which they've already done. Ripple's joined FedNow back in 23. They're getting ready to fire that up. Everyone says the U.S. is behind, but from what I see the United States government getting ready to introduce its U.S. market infrastructure, starting with announcing its U.S. strategic reserve, which, by the way, is the first path and a big step towards XRP truly becoming a world reserve bridge currency, because it's going to need to be a strategic reserve first before it can prove out, and then it can grow into that role ultimately. That's the goal, to get the US dollar supported and be able to do away with the petrodollar agreement and have the dollar be stronger than ever before, because it's underpinned by XRP and all the different reserves on that ledger. That's what I'm telling you right there. Now, everyone says that we're behind in the U.S. and the U.S. government's if it adopts a protocol like XRP, which it just said it adopted the asset, why would it not adapt the protocol? Right? And with the new stablecoin launched on Ethereum and XRP Ledger, it's not far away from us to see a systemically important designation soon to come. And wouldn't that mean the 95% of those partners from outside the United States are instantly plugged in to the United States' new market infrastructure, which could involve the XRP ledger and multiple other ledgers, which I believe it will. Ripple isn't just a great company, in my opinion. It's the United States solution for this new multipolar asset world we're moving towards. That's why so many U.S. Treasury officials come through the Ripple camp. In short, Ripple and the XRP ledger are the missing links that joins the world together in this new financial system. Write that down. You can join us in the Freedom Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Click the join button right here underneath the title of any one of my videos and come on in for next to nothing and get all your daily videos with zero Google ads. And we also throw in some extra content in there, crypto and other related materials, which is super, super fun to touch on. I hope you will join us. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch all of you on the next one.